The discovery, the Void Nebula, stretched endlessly before them, a cosmic graveyard where ships came to die and salvage crews came to profit. Captain Sarah Chen adjusted her headset as she studied the scanner readings, her weathered hands steady on the controls of the mining vessel Resilient Dawn. 3 decades of deep space salvage had taught her to trust her instincts. And right now, those instincts were screaming that something was different about this job. "Captain, you need to see this," Dr. Marcus Webb called from the sensor station, his voice tight with excitement. The xenorchaeologist had joined their crew 6 months ago, trading academic comfort for the thrill of discovering lost civilizations among the stars. His enthusiasm often clashed with Sarah's pragmatic approach, but she respected his expertise. Sarah pushed herself away from the pilot's seat and drifted over to Marcus's station. The artificial gravity on their aging vessel had failed again. Last week, an engineer, Zara Okafor, was still hunting for replacement parts. "What have you got, Doc?" Marcus pointed to his screen, where a massive silhouette emerged from the nebula's swirling gases. "It's not showing up on standard scans, but when I adjusted for temporal displacement signatures, this appeared. Captain, this thing is enormous. At least 10 kilometers long, possibly more." Sarah whistled low. In 30 years of salvage work, she had never seen anything that size. Most derelicts were civilian transports or small military vessels, picked clean by previous salvage crews. This was something else entirely. Age estimate. Preliminary readings suggest at least 50,000 years, possibly older. The hull composition doesn't match any known materials in the galactic database. Marcus's fingers flew over his console. "Captain, I think we've found something that predates the current galactic civilizations, from across the cramped bridge." Zara's voice crackled over the comm system. "I'm reading massive energy signatures from that direction, but they're not active. It's like the ship is sleeping, not dead." The young engineer had a gift for understanding technology that others found mysterious. Her intuitive grasp of alien systems had saved their lives more than once. Sarah studied the readings, her mind racing through possibilities. Ancient ships meant potential treasure, but they also meant danger. The galaxy was littered with warnings about precursor technology that had destroyed entire research teams. Still, the potential payoff was enormous. Any signs of other salvage crews? "Negative," Captain Zara reported, "but I am detecting some very faint energy signatures nearby. They look like they might be observation posts." Before Sarah could respond, their communication array crackled to life. A stern voice filled the bridge, speaking in the precise, clipped tones of galactic standard. "Unknown vessel, this is Commander Thrix of the Galactic Council Survey Corps. You are approaching a restricted archaeological site. Maintain your current position and prepare for boarding." Sarah cursed under her breath. The Council's involvement meant this discovery was already known and probably claimed. She activated the comm system. "Commander Thrix is Captain Sarah Chen of the independent salvage vessel Resilient Dawn. We're operating under legitimate salvage rights in unclaimed space. Captain Chen, this site has been under Council observation for over 2 centuries. Multiple expeditions have attempted to access the vessel you see before you. All have failed. We are here to ensure that pattern continues." Marcus leaned closer to Sarah. 2 centuries. "Captain, if the Council has been studying this ship for that long and still can't access it, what makes them think we can't either?" Sarah activated the comm again. "Commander, we're willing to cooperate with Council protocols. Request permission to approach and examine the derelict under Council supervision." There was a long pause before Thrix responded. "Very well, Captain Chen, my team will accompany you. Be advised that 17 different species have attempted to board that vessel. The ship's automated systems have rejected every attempt. We do not expect your outcome to be different. An hour later, Commander Thrix materialized on their bridge in a shower of blue light, accompanied by 2 other council officers. Thrix belonged to the Zelari species, tall and graceful, with crystalline skin that reflected light in mesmerizing patterns. Despite their elegant appearance, Sarah knew the Zelari were among the galaxy's most formidable military strategists. Captain Chen Thrix nodded respectfully. I must admit, I am curious to observe human methods. Your species has a reputation for unconventional approaches to problem solving. Sarah smiled grimly. That's one way to put it. Doc, what can you tell the commander about our preliminary scans? Marcus activated the main display, showing detailed sensor readings of the mysterious ship. The vessel appears to be constructed from a self-repairing metal. The whole design suggests it was built for long-term deep space travel, possibly intergalactic distances. Most interesting are these biometric scanners positioned at regular intervals along the hull. Thrix's crystalline features shifted, what passed for surprise among his people. Biometric scanners. Our teams detected those as well, but they do not respond to any known biological patterns. We have tested genetic material from 47 different species. Maybe you just haven't tested the right species yet. Zara suggested, joining the conversation from her engineering station. Some of these ancient ships were built with very specific access protocols. They might only respond to their builders. An interesting theory, Thrix replied. However, this ship predates all known spacefaring civilizations. The builders, whoever they were, have been extinct for millennia. Sarah made her decision. Only one way to find out. Zara, prep the boarding shuttle. We're going to take a closer look. The approach to the ancient vessel was unlike anything Sarah had experienced in 3 decades of space travel. As their shuttle drew closer, the ship's true size became apparent. It wasn't just large, it was a floating city with graceful curves and flowing lines that seemed almost organic. The whole material shifted and flowed like liquid metal, but sensor readings confirmed it was solid. My God, Marcus whispered, it's beautiful. Look at those energy patterns running through the hull. It's like neural pathways, as if the ship itself is alive. Thrix activated his own recording equipment. 17 expeditions have reached this point, Captain. The ship's automated defenses activate approximately 50 meters from the hull. Energy weapons, gravitational distortions, temporal displacement fields. 3 ships were completely destroyed. The others were forced to retreat. Sarah studied the approaching hull, looking for anything their predecessors might have missed. Zara, are you picking up those energy patterns Marcus mentioned? Affirmative, Captain. But they're not defense systems. They look more like invitation protocols. It's as if the ship is trying to communicate something. As they closed to within 100 meters of the hull, Sarah expected alarms to sound, weapons to charge, or reality itself to twist around them. Instead, something remarkable happened. The energy patterns in the hull began to pulse more rapidly, and a section of the seemingly solid surface rippled like water, revealing a docking bay. Commander Thrix's crystalline skin flickered rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation among his people. This is impossible. The ship has never responded to any approach in over 2 centuries of observation. Sarah felt a strange tingling sensation, as if something was scanning her at a molecular level. Maybe it was waiting for the right visitors. Zara, take us in. The docking bay was vast enough to hold a dozen ships their size, with walls that glowed with soft bioluminescent patterns. As their shuttle settled onto the deck, atmosphere began flowing into the bay. Zara checked her readings twice before, looking up in amazement. Captain, the atmosphere is perfect for human respiration. Not just breathable, perfect. Oxygen-nitrogen mix exactly matching Earth, normal, optimal pressure, and humidity levels. Marcus was practically vibrating with excitement. This is incredible, Sarah. It's like the ship knew we were coming. Thrix remained skeptical. Captain, I strongly advise caution. This behavior is completely unprecedented. Sarah was already suiting up for the boarding operation. Noted, Commander. But we didn't come this far to turn back now. She activated the shuttle's external scanners. I'm reading corridors leading deeper into the ship. Emergency lighting is coming online ahead of us, as if it's preparing a path. As the boarding team assembled at the shuttle's airlock, Sarah felt that strange tingling sensation again, stronger this time. It was almost as if the ship was ... welcoming her. The thought should have been terrifying, but instead she felt an odd sense of homecoming. The airlock cycled, and they stepped into a corridor that defied every expectation. The walls were smooth and seamless, constructed from the same flowing metamaterial as the hull. But more importantly, the corridor was clearly designed for humanoid beings of approximately human height and proportions. The architecture is perfect. For us, Marcus observed, running his hands along the wall. Not just functional, comfortable, as if it was designed by humans for humans. Thrix tested the wall with his own instruments. The material is responding to human touch, but not to mine. Captain, I believe this ship may have been constructed by an ancient human civilization. Sarah stopped walking. That's impossible, Commander. Humans have only been spacefaring for a few centuries. We've never built anything like this. Perhaps not the humans of today, Thrix replied carefully. But the galaxy is old, Captain Chen. Civilizations rise and fall. It is possible that an earlier human species achieved interstellar flight long before your current civilization developed. As they moved deeper into the ship, more systems came online around them. Lights illuminated their path, doors opened before they could ask, and environmental systems adjusted automatically to maintain perfect comfort for the human members of the team. For Commander Thrix and his officers, the ship remained cold and unresponsive. They reached what appeared to be a central hub, a vast circular chamber with a raised platform in the center. As Sarah approached the platform, holographic displays materialized in the air around her, showing star maps, technical diagrams, and symbols that seemed almost familiar. Can you read any of this, Doc? Sarah asked, studying the floating displays. Marcus was frantically recording everything. Some of it, yes. This appears to be a navigation chart showing the galaxy as it was thousands of years ago. And these symbols, they're related to ancient human languages, but evolved far beyond anything in our historical records. Suddenly, the displays shifted, and a new hologram appeared on the central platform. It was a figure in flowing robes, clearly humanoid but somehow more than human. The being's face was serene and ageless, with eyes that held depths of wisdom accumulated over millennia. When it spoke, the words came not as sound but as direct understanding, flowing into their minds like water into thirsty ground. Welcome, children of Earth. We have waited so long for your return. Sarah found her voice first. Who are you? What is this place? The holographic figure smiled with infinite sadness and hope. I am the last echo of those who came before. This vessel is the eternal guardian built by your ancestors when they walked among the stars as gods. We fled when the darkness came, seeding primitive worlds with our essence, hoping that one day our children would grow strong enough to reclaim their birthright. Marcus stepped forward, his scientific mind racing. You're saying that modern humans are descendants of an ancient spacefaring civilization? Not just spacefaring, young scholar. Your ancestors shaped reality itself, commanded forces that could reshape worlds, stood as guardians against the dark things that lurk between the stars. But power corrupts even the noblest hearts, and we fell to division and war. In the end, we saved what we could, our genetic essence, our knowledge, our hope, and cast it into the void, trusting that evolution and time would create new guardians from our legacy. Commander Thrix had remained silent throughout this exchange, but now he spoke. If this is true, then humans are not the young species we believed them to be. They are the inheritors of one of the galaxy's lost supercivilizations. The hologram turned to address Thrix directly. The Zelari have long memories, crystal-born one. Your people remember the ancients who walked among the stars before your crystalline ancestors learned to think. You know the legends of the first guardians, those who held back the darkness in the early ages of the galaxy. Thrix's crystalline skin went completely white, a sign of shock so profound that Sarah had never seen it before. The first guardians are myth, legend, stories told to children. All myths have roots in truth, the hologram replied gently. And now the children of the first guardians have returned. Just as the darkness stirs once more in the deep places between the galaxies. Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's temperature. What darkness? What are you talking about? The hologram's expression grew grave. The enemy that drove us from our golden age still exists, Captain Chen. It sleeps in the void between galaxies, but it dreams, and its dreams are filled with hunger for the life and light of inhabited worlds. Our sensors have detected the first stirrings of its awakening. The time of testing approaches once more. The chamber fell silent, except for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Sarah looked around at her team, seeing her own mix of wonder and terror reflected in their faces. They had come looking for salvage and found themselves inheritors of a cosmic legacy they never imagined. What does this mean for us? She asked finally. What are we supposed to do with this information? The hologram smiled again, and this time there was hope in its ancient eyes. That, dear Captain, is entirely up to you. The Eternal Guardian offers her services to humanity, as she was designed to do. Her weapons can crack moons, her shields can withstand stellar explosions, her engines can cross the galaxy in days rather than years. But more than that, she carries the accumulated knowledge of your ancestors' science, philosophy, art, and wisdom beyond imagining. Marcus could barely contain his excitement. Think of what we could learn, Sarah. Think of what this could mean for humanity's future. But Sarah was already thinking ahead to the complications. Commander Thrix, what's the Council's position? On this, I'm guessing they won't just let us fly away with a superweapon. Thrix was quiet for a long moment, his crystalline features cycling through patterns that indicated deep thought. Captain Chen, in my 2 centuries of service to the Galactic Council, I have never encountered a situation quite like this. Legally, this vessel appears to be humanity's birthright. Practically, its capabilities could destabilize the current galactic order. The hologram addressed Thrix again. The Council has served the galaxy well in maintaining peace among the younger species. But the time of peace is ending, Crystalborn One. Your people's legends speak of the final darkness, when the ancient enemy returns to devour all life. That time approaches. The galaxy will need its guardians again. Sarah made her decision with the same decisive certainty that had kept her alive through 3 decades of dangerous salvage work. We're taking the ship, but not to conquer or dominate. If what you're saying is true, if there really is some cosmic threat approaching, then humanity needs to be ready. And maybe, just maybe, we can use this knowledge to help protect everyone. The hologram nodded approvingly, spoken like a true daughter of the first Guardians. The Eternal Guardian accepts you as her captain, Sarah Chen. May you prove worthy of the trust our ancestors placed in your bloodline. As the hologram faded, new displays appeared throughout the chamber, showing ship systems coming online, weapon arrays charging, and engines that had slept for millennia beginning to warm up. Sarah felt a connection forming between herself and the ship. Not just technological, but almost spiritual, as if she was becoming part of something far greater than herself. Commander Thrix watched the proceedings with a mixture of fascination and concern. Captain, I will need to report this to the Council immediately. The discovery of an active precursor vessel, especially one with capabilities this advanced, will cause considerable debate. Sarah nodded. I understand, Commander, but I hope you'll also report that humanity doesn't intend to use this power for conquest. We want to be part of the galactic community, not its rulers. As they prepared to return to their shuttle, Sarah took one last look around the chamber that had changed everything. The ship hummed around them with renewed life, waiting patiently for orders from its new human crew. She thought about the cosmic threat the hologram had mentioned, about the responsibility that had just been placed on her shoulders, about the future of not just humanity but all intelligent life in the galaxy. The salvage run that had started as a routine job had become something else entirely. They weren't just taking home scrap metal and outdated technology. They were carrying humanity's destiny among the stars, a legacy of power and responsibility that stretched back to the dawn of galactic civilization. But as the Eternal Guardian prepared for its first flight in 50,000 years, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that their real adventure was just beginning. The Guardian's purpose 6 weeks had passed since Captain Sarah Chen first stepped aboard the Eternal Guardian, and the massive vessel had become both home and responsibility in ways she never could have imagined. The ship now hung in orbit around Kepler Station, the galaxy's largest neutral trading post, while representatives from dozens of species debated humanity's claim to the ancient super-dash weapon. Sarah stood in the Guardian's command center, a space that had adapted itself to human needs while maintaining its otherworldly beauty. The walls displayed real-time tactical information from across the galaxy, and she was troubled by what she saw. Strange energy signatures were appearing at the galaxy's edge, patterns that matched the ancient warnings the ship's database had revealed. Captain, incoming priority transmission from the Galactic Council, announced Aria, the ship's artificial intelligence. Unlike the cold, mechanical voices of most AI systems, Aria spoke with warmth and personality, another gift from humanity's ancient ancestors. Sarah activated the communication array, and Commander Thrix's crystalline features appeared in the main display. Behind him, she could see the council chambers filled with representatives from across the galaxy, their various forms and colors creating a stunning tapestry of alien diversity. Captain Chen Thrix began formally. The council has reached a Decision regarding the Eternal Guardian. After extensive debate, we have agreed to recognize humanity's claim to the vessel with certain conditions. Sarah felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. What conditions, Commander? The Council requires human representation in all major galactic security decisions moving forward. Additionally, any use of the Guardian's advanced weapons systems must be approved by a joint Council Human Oversight Committee. Thrix paused, his skin patterns shifting to indicate personal rather than official communication. Privately, Captain, I supported your claim completely. The galaxy needs guardians, now more than ever. Before Sarah could ask what he meant, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Arya's voice cut through the noise with urgent clarity. Captain, detecting massive spatial distortions at grid reference Sigma 7. Energy signatures match those found in the ancient warning databases. Dr. Marcus Webb rushed onto the bridge, his face pale with excitement and fear. Sarah, you need to see this. The deep space sensors are picking up something at the galactic rim. It's enormous, and it's definitely not natural. Sarah turned to the tactical display, where a three-dimensional map of the galaxy rotated slowly. At the very edge of known space, a dark mass was emerging from the void between galaxies. It pulsed with malevolent energy, and even from this distance, Sarah could feel an instinctive revulsion at its wrongness. Arya, analysis, Sarah commanded. Energy signature analysis confirms this is the threat referenced in Guardian archives. Estimated mass equals approximately 3 million stellar objects. Composition appears to be a hybrid of dark matter, exotic energy, and something else. Something that our sensors cannot adequately classify. Commander Thrix's image flickered as emergency protocols activated on his end. Captain Chen, are you detecting the same anomaly we are? Confirmed, Commander. Arya, show him the archive warnings. The ship's AI projected a holographic display showing the same enemy Sarah had first learned about weeks ago. Ancient texts scrolled alongside images of devastated worlds and fleeing civilizations. The translation appeared in both Galactic Standard and the flowing script of humanity's ancestors. The Devourers return from the dark between stars. They who consume light and hope, who turn living worlds into husks of despair. When the void spawn wake from their slumber, all free peoples must stand as one, or all will fall into eternal darkness. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just an ancient threat from humanity's past. It was an active, immediate danger to every living being in the galaxy. Engineer Zara Okafor's voice crackled over the cum from the Guardian's engine room. Captain, the ship's defensive systems are activating automatically. It's like the Guardian recognizes this threat and is preparing for battle. Sarah felt the ship's consciousness pressing gently against her mind, sharing tactical assessments and strategic options. The Guardian wasn't just a vessel, it was a living weapon, designed specifically to fight this enemy. Her ancestors had built it as humanity's last gift to the galaxy, a sleeping guardian that would awaken when the ancient darkness returned. Commander Thrix, how long do we have before that thing reaches inhabited space? Thrix consulted his instruments, his crystalline features shifting through rapid calculations. Based on current velocity and trajectory, approximately 18 standard months. Captain, the Council is calling an emergency session. Every fleet in the galaxy will be mobilized, but our preliminary estimates suggest we're facing an enemy force that outmasses our combined military capabilities by a factor of 1,000. Marcus pulled up the Guardian's technical specifications, his voice filled with awe and terror. Sarah, According to these schematics, this ship isn't just advanced technology, it's weaponized reality manipulation. The Guardian can alter space-time on a local level, create artificial black holes, even manipulate the fundamental forces of physics. Our ancestors didn't just build a warship, they built a weapon that operates on cosmic scales. Sarah studied the technical readouts, trying to comprehend power levels that dwarfed entire star systems. The question is, will it be enough? Unknown, Captain, Arya replied. Guardian archives indicate that during the last encounter with the Devourers, multiple Guardian-classed vessels were required to drive them back into the void. This unit is the sole surviving vessel of its class. The weight of responsibility settled on Sarah's shoulders like a physical burden. Humanity had just reclaimed its place among the stars, only to discover they might be the galaxy's last hope against an enemy beyond imagination. Commander, Thrix interrupted her thoughts. Captain Chen, the Council is requesting your immediate presence at an emergency gathering. Representatives from every major species will be attending, along with the galaxy's top military strategists. Understood, Commander. We'll be there within the hour. As the Guardian's engines hummed to life, preparing for the jump to Council space, Sarah gathered her senior staff in the ship's briefing room. The chamber had configured itself to accommodate their needs, with human standard seating and displays that showed tactical information in formats they could understand. Asterisk all right, people, cards on the table, Sarah began. We've gone from salvage crew to humanity's representatives in a galactic war council. I need to know where everyone stands. Marcus leaned forward, his academic excitement now tempered with grim realization. Sarah, the historical parallels are clear. Every galactic civilization has legends about an ancient enemy that devours worlds. The Zalari call them the Crystal Breakers. The Voltani know them as the Star Plague. The Hegemony remembers them as the Final Night. What we're facing isn't just another alien invasion, it's the galaxy's ultimate test. Zara's voice came through the cum from the engine room, where she was interfacing directly with the Guardian's systems. Captain, I've been studying the ship's defensive capabilities. The Guardian isn't just designed to fight the Devourers. It's designed to coordinate the defense of entire star systems. If we're going to have any chance, we need every ship in the galaxy working together. Sarah nodded. That's assuming the other species are willing to follow humanity's lead. We're still the newcomers here, and now we're claiming to be their saviors. Perhaps that's exactly what they need, suggested a new voice. Everyone turned as the holographic figure from their first encounter materialized in the briefing room. The ancient human's presence filled the space with quiet authority. Honored ancestor, Sarah said respectfully. She had taken to addressing the ship's guardian spirit formally, recognizing the vast wisdom and experience it represented. Captain Chen, the time has come for humanity to embrace its true nature. Your species is young, yes, but youth brings strengths that age often loses, adaptability, hope, the willingness to take risks that more established civilizations would avoid. The hologram gestured to the tactical displays. The Devourers feed on despair and resignation. They turn a species' own strengths against them, corrupting wisdom into cynicism, turning caution into paralysis. Humanity's greatest asset is not this ship or your ancient heritage. It is your refusal to accept defeat. Marcus asked the question they were all thinking. But will it be enough? One ship against a force that consumed multiple Guardian vessels in the past. The ancient spirit smiled. One ship, yes, but not alone. The Guardian was designed to awaken not just human potential, but the potential of all free peoples. When the final battle comes, it will not be humanity standing alone against the darkness. It will be every species, every world, every thinking being united in common cause. Sarah felt the truth of those words resonate through the ship's consciousness and into her own mind. The Guardian wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol, a rallying point for the galaxy's defense. Arya, estimated time to Council space. 43 minutes, Captain. All systems operating at optimal efficiency. Sarah stood, decision crystallizing in her mind. All right, everyone. When we reach the Council, we're not going as supplicants asking for permission. We're going as humanity's representatives, offering our service in the galaxy's darkest hour. The Guardian chose us not because we're the strongest or the wisest, but because we're willing to stand and fight when everything seems hopeless. The Guardian dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Council space, its massive bulk dwarfing even the largest military vessels in the assembled fleet. Representatives from hundreds of species had gathered, their ships forming a defensive perimeter around the Council's mobile command station as Sarah and her team prepared to transfer. To the Council chambers, she felt the Guardian's consciousness brush against her mind one final time. Remember, Captain, Arya said softly, you carry not just humanity's hopes, but the dreams of every species that refuses to bow to the darkness. The Devourers have awakened, but so have the Guardians. The real battle begins now. Sarah looked out at the assembled fleet, Zellery crystal ships that bent light around them, Voltani biovessels that pulsed with living energy, hegemony dreadnoughts that bristled with conventional weapons, and dozens of other designs representing the galaxies. Incredible diversity. Each species had their own strengths, their own traditions of warfare and defense. But as the Guardian took its place at the center of the formation, Sarah realized that unity would be their greatest weapon. The ancient enemy fed on division and despair, but they would face something it had never encountered before. A galaxy truly united, with humanity serving as the bridge between ancient wisdom and youthful determination. The war for the galaxy's survival was about to begin, and humanity would stand at its heart, not as conquerors but as guardians, just as their ancestors had always intended. As they entered the council chambers, Sarah carried with her the hopes of billions of beings, the wisdom of an ancient civilization, and the determination of a species that had never learned how to give up. The Devourers were coming, but they would find the galaxy ready for them. The sleeping Guardian had awakened, and with it, the true spirit of galactic civilization. The final battle for light and life among the stars was about to begin.